Okay, hey Juan, AFM by here. Welcome back to another video where today it's round 2 of the candidates, and holy heck, are the candidates today uneventful. Like, we had all 4 draws. What is this? But here we will go. Right now we have Hikaru Nakamura versus Isipenko and Andrea. So here we go. Isipenko with the white, Hikaru with the black. C4, English. E5, okay, E6 is a move, but 9 times out of 10 with the English, it's E5. But okay, you guys are super GMs. I'm not going to put a single word onto this. Okay, E6. G3. G3 is looking to Catalan that bishop. So here we go. D5. D5 is trying to fight for the center, but again, I don't like this because white can take and you take, and now you don't have an e-pawn, or you can, take and queen takes, and you give white a tempo with the knight, but hey. We got bishop to G2, knight to F3, knight to F6, knight to F3, and we have C5. So we have almost a London, not really. It's a Catalan. So this is a Catalan now. We have C takes D5, knight takes D5, and we have castles. Okay. Bishop to E7, and we have D4. C takes D4, knight takes D4, castles, and we have queen to B2. Queen to B3. Queen to B3 is now looking at the B7 pawn, as well as his knight on D5, as well as controlling this entire center. Okay, well, let's keep going. Knight to C6, knight takes D6, B takes C6, and we have E4. E4 is now looking to kick that knight out of the way, and the knight absolutely moves. The knight moves to F6. Okay. We have H3. H3 stops knight to G4, and it also keeps this knight in a leash. By the way, this is where I took a look once, and I was already considering white's position better, but there's still a lot of chances for black to play. Okay. Bishop to A6, and we have rook to D1, attacking the queen, and the queen goes to B6, queen to B6, and yeah, you get another tempo with bishop to E3. The bishop blocks E3, so bishop to C5, and bishop takes C5, queen takes C5, and you want to trade queens. I wouldn't really do this, but okay, queen to C3. Hikaru doesn't want to trade it, so he goes queen to B8, and queen to B8 follows up with knight to D2. Knight to D2 goes with C5. C5 gets met with B3. Okay. See, I told you, this is a slightly boring of a chess game compared to yesterday's, but all right, we'll keep going. We have rook a d8, knight to c4, bishop takes c4, queen takes c4, and we have e5. By the way, what is this? Wow, isolated pawns, but okay. We have isolated king's pawn out for both sides, but that's neither here or there at the moment. Sorry, not isolate queen's pawn. We have an isolated queen's pawn. ICP, or I don't know how to spell it, but yeah, isolated queen's pawn. This can be a target in the future. However, let's keep rolling. We have rook to c1, rook a, c1. Notice how I keep saying rook a, because both rooks could go to c1. And rook a, the a rook goes to c1, rook a, c1. We have rook takes d1, rook takes d1, and we have a5. a5 and rook to c1, creating a battery, looking to take the c5 pawn. So we have rook to c8. Rook to c8 followed by queen to c3. Now you're looking at the e5 pawn that may fall. So the queen drops to c7 and covers both pawns, all 3 pawns are actually covered by the queen. So the queen is actually overloaded. You can actually put pressure on the queen and completely destroy it. But okay, well, let's keep going. We have h4. h4 now allows this, but it wouldn't really matter. We have h6, making a left for the king. The king needs a smoking break. That's fine. We'll talk about his addictions later. Okay, let's keep going. Rook to c2, rook to c2, and we have g6. g6 followed by queen to e3. Queen to e3 now gives up focus of this pawn. However, creates an attack on the h6 square, as well as keeping this pressure where it is. Right? Okay, here we go. Queen drops to d8 and rook to d2. It's okay. I don't hate this. I don't hate this. However, Isipenko just had a free pawn here, but I digress. I digress. Like I said, Isipenko could have taken this pawn. I don't see the problem here. Oh, I see the problem now. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this happens. Rook to d2, and queen goes to b6, and queen goes to b6. Can you still take this pawn? This pawn is still hanging, by the way. I just want to see something. If you take this pawn, what happens? Do you fall? No, you don't. You actually just win a free pawn. Okay. Cool. You just win a free pawn. But okay, the position doesn't change at all. Okay. So now we have queen to b6, followed by bishop to f1, king to g7, stopping you from taking this pawn. I don't know why Isipenko didn't just take this pawn. It would have made his endgame a little bit stronger. But okay, I digress. We have a4 followed by rook to c6, and rook to c2. So rook to c2 followed by c4, and queen takes b6, rook takes b6, and we have bishop takes c4. Wow, look at that. By the way, here I was talking with my dad, and we were like, why didn't Isipenko just take back like this? Yeah, you still drop this pawn, or Isipenko could have just taken like this, allowing you to take this pawn and still guarding these pawns, right? But okay. Bishop takes is also possible. So, okay. Bishop takes c4, and knight takes c4, and rook to e2. Rook to e2, and f5 is forced, so f5 was played, and f3, and knight jumps to d6, knight to d6, and yeah, you dropped your e pawn. So rook takes e5, rook takes e5, knight takes c4, knight takes c4, pawn takes c4, and rook jumps to b4, and rook takes a5, rook takes a c4, and we have rook to a7 check, king drops to f6, and oh holy heck, we are about to have some problems. Okay, a5 and rook to c3, king to f2, rook to rook to c2 check, and yeah, so king to e3 and rook back check. Again, I don't know why the engine doesn't like this. Sorry, folks. Give me a second. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know why the engine doesn't like... anyway. Rook to c3 check, and king to e2, and rook to c2 check. King goes to d3. Rook goes to g2, and... okay. King... rook check, rook to a6 check, king goes back to f7, and king steps to d4. You drop your g-pawn, so rook takes g3, and king goes to e5. What is Isipenko doing? You're just dropping pawns, but okay. I digress. Apparently, it's still a draw. So rook takes f3, and we have rook to a7 check, king goes to e8, and rook king a6, and rook goes to a3. King goes to e6. What the heck is this? Okay, king goes to e6, and followed by king to d8 and king to f6, and the players agree to draw, which I don't know why, but yeah, they agreed to the draw. Again, at this level, it's a draw, but I played against at our levels, and it's a win for, well, white white has winning chances if we were playing at our level. Anyway, let's go to Fabi's game. So Hikaru drew. Hikaru and Espango drew. So let's go to Fabi's game. Okay. Now, what did Fabi's game have? We had d4, d5, c4, e6. So we have Queen's Gambit declined, and knight to f3, knight to d7. You know, I'm just going to speed through this because half of this is all... Why are they playing the Catalan now? But okay, all of this theory. D takes c4, and bishop to g2, and yeah, this is theory. Rook to b8. Rook b8, rook b8. But okay. Sorry, that Levy song was catchy. A4, and b6. By the way, Levy would say rook b1, rook b1. What the hell is that move? Anyway, b6, knight fd2, and a5. Knight takes c4, and bishop goes to a6. Bishop to 8. Oh, whoopsie. We're gonna go back to where we had bishop takes a6. Sorry, folks, you saw that. Okay. Bishop to a6. Okay. Then we have bishop to b4 check. Oh, by the way, we had... Look at this. Look at this. Knight goes to a3, but knight b3. This is knights on the rim or dim, but again, you're a grandmaster. Don't worry about this. If you were my student, or if you're playing around my level, or you were playing, I don't know, 1700, 1800, 1900, 2000, 2100, 2200, 2300, 2400, you don't want to do this. Unless you're 2500 and above, or international master at least 2400 and above, 9 times out of 10, not a good idea. Knights on the rim are dim. Okay, remember that. Okay, anyway, we have bishop to b4 check, and bishop to d2, and bishop takes a3, knight takes a3, and we have, again, why not just take with the rook, but I digress. Knight takes a3, and knight to e7, castles, and we have b4, and a takes b4, bishop takes b4, and we have c5, and bishop drops back to c3. Knight goes to e5, knight goes to f5, and knight goes to b5, knight b5, bishop takes b5, a takes b5, and we have c takes d5, c takes d4, bishop takes d4, knight takes d4, queen takes d4. Sorry, I'm speedrunning this because this is all been here. Anyway, we have knight to c5 and rook a d1, saying, okay, if we're going to trade queens, we're going to trade queens on my turn and activate my rook, which, fair point. You know what? Fair point. I don't hate this. I agree with this. You know, if we're going to trade queens, I might as well trade on my turns. Fair. So, queen takes d4, rook takes d4, and we have rook fd8. Rook f d1. Rook takes d1, rook takes d1, and we have, holy, king to f8. Okay, we're already in the endgame, folks. Rook to d6 and king to e7, rook to c6, rook to d8, f4, rook to d6, and okay. Rook to c7 check, rook to d7, rook to c6. Oh, is this what they do? Yeah. Okay, so they drew like this. Okay. Great. So yeah, this game, a draw. All right. Pragg, I'm kind of sad that this was a draw. I am. I kind of wanted Pragg to win, but I'm definitely sad that this game was a draw. Honestly, today sucked. Anyway, let's go. We had e4, e6, d4, c4. This is the French defense. The Caro-Kann, Levy's favorite, would be like this. This is the French. Okay, we have a French. So let's see what type of French we get. We get a French, just a French. Knight to c3. Knight to c3 and knight to f6. And now we go into advanced French with e5, and knight goes back to... Knight fd7 is sad, but again, I don't know the French. I'm not going to talk about the French. I've never played the French. Okay, f4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop e3, bishop e7, and queen to d2, a6, bishop to d3, castles. By the way, inaccuracy. I wonder why. What happens if D takes? D takes C5. Queen to A5. Point being what? Because you're attacking this and activating your queen? And because you have triple pressure? Okay, that makes sense. Anyway, F6, F6, and we have E takes F6, Knight takes F6. By the way, I was watching this and I realized it was a draw after a couple moves down. So let's go. King to H1, B6, Knight takes E5 right here. I preferred White's position, but again, definitely playable for Black. Even though the engine says Black may be winning. But okay, that's neither here nor there. Rook to E1. Bishop to D6. Knight takes C6. Queen takes C6. Bishop to E2. Rook A7. Knight F3. Rook AF7. Sorry, folks. F5, C4. Bishop G5, Bishop B4, Queen E2, Bishop takes C3, F takes C6, Rook takes E7, Bishop takes C3, Rook takes E6, Queen D2, Knight E4, and Bishop takes E4, Rook takes F1 check, Bishop takes F1, and we have Rook takes E4, and we have Bishop F4, Rook E7, Bishop E5, Queen G7, right? Oh, sorry, Queen to G6, and yeah, this is where I realized this was a draw because F4, and yeah, this is a draw. This is a draw, guaranteed draw. So we have Rook takes F7, check, Queen takes F7, Rook takes F7, King takes F7. Okay, dead draw. Dead draw, complete draw. Drawn. Because now you have opposite colored bishops, and opposite colored bishops is a draw. So I'm not even going to bother spelling out these. I'm just going to speed through this a little bit, okay? So here we go. La da 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 da, and yeah, they agreed to a draw on move 46. Okay, great. Kind of wanted Pragg to win, but a draw is a draw. He still has 1.5, and Caruana has 1.5, and I think Blübaum has 1.5, or Esipenko may have 1.5. I forgot who won yesterday out of Esipenko and Blübaum, but I think it was Esipenko. So let's go to Blübaum and Sindarov. So here we go. I kind of didn't like today. Today was all draws, and it kind of sucked. But here we go, folks. We had E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight F6, and Knight takes E5. And we have D6. This is playable. This is actually there may be a trap in here. I don't study this. I didn't play this, so I'm not gonna say much about it. Knight goes to D3. Knight to D3 is a little suspicious. I agree with Engine. I prefer Knight to F3. But Knight to D3 is a little suspicious. But okay. Knight takes E4, and Bishop to E2, and Bishop to E7. Queen to E2, Queen to E7. Knight to F4, C6, F3. Knight to F6, D4, Bishop to F5, C6. Queen takes E2, Bishop takes E2, H4, H5. Knight to A3, Knight to A3. Again, folks, don't do this. I don't know how many times I have to tell you. Knights on the rim are dim. Okay? By the way, you're Super GM, so I'm not going to say anything about it. But if you were not a Super GM, don't do this. Okay? What is this? Okay, knight to a6. Again, knight's on the rim. What are we doing? Okay. Knight to c4, knight to c7, knight to e3, knight to bishop to h7, and we have h4. Okay, not terrible. Both players have left their kings in the center, and somehow they're both safe. We have king to d7, king to f2, and rook to e8, g3, knight f6, knight to e6. My bad. Sorry, knight to e6. And we have knight to h3. What are we doing? Okay, see, this one makes a lot more sense to me because you want to plant the knight to g5. You're rerouting your knight to g5, which, okay, because your knight's not fighting for the center. Fine. Let's keep going. By the way, 0.6. So Sindarov has winning chances here against Blübaum. All right, but anyway. Knight drops to h3, and we have d5. And yeah, knight to g5, bishop to g6, bishop to f1, knight to h7, bishop to h3, knight takes g5, h takes g5, and king to c7, knight to f5, bishop takes f5, bishop takes f5, g6, bishop c2, bishop d6, bishop e3, rook e7, rook a e1, rook h e8, rook f4, knight g7, king f3, king d7, bishop f2, rook takes e1, bishop takes e1, rook f8, g4, f5, g takes h5, knight takes h5, bishop d2, rook h8, bishop to d3, rook h7, bishop takes f5 check, g takes f5, g6, rook g7, rook takes h5, king e6, rook h6, king to f6, bishop to e2, rook takes g6, rook h7, rook g7, rook h6 check, rook to g6, and rook h7, and rook to g6, and they agree to a draw right here. Okay, cool. Great, folks. This sucked. Everyone drew. Anyway, folks, before this, remember my book is on sale. It's $10 USD and $13.99 Canadian for the paperback, and the ebook is $7 Canadian and $5 USD. Get yours now so you can learn at least the basic principles of chess, because it's called Chess Fundamentals. Unlock your inner commander. I already have 27 people who's already bought the book. Let's make it 28. Okay. Folks, by the way, India has a lead. Can the States beat it? I want to see the States try to beat that lead. So, anyway, folks, have a good one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace out.